this week on Africa Weekly. We go to Somalia, where elections are underway, despite falling short of a democratic process. We take you to South Africa, where war veterans are training park rangers to take on poachers. And we tune in to the latest craze to hit Cairo's underground music scene. But first, a summary of the stories that made the headlines this week. Gambia is gearing up for presidential elections and campaigning is well underway. The Gambian president, an electoral favourite who is seeking his fifth term in power, urged his supporters to abstain from violence during the process. Opposition parties have decided to join forces to field a single candidate to take him on December the 1st. Meanwhile, rights groups have expressed alarm over the arrest of journalists during the campaigning. Funerals were held for 5 Malian soldiers killed by alleged jihadists while transporting ballot boxes. Security sources said the attackers wanted to sabotage the country's municipal elections, but were unable to make off with the ballots. Mali voted in its first elections since 2013 last week. Destruction in the streets of Sirte and still no end to the fighting in sight. Forces loyal to Libya's government of national accord have recaptured large chunks of the coastal city from Islamic State jihadists, but pockets of resistance remain. This latest battle has left over 600 dead and 3,000 wounded in GNA ranks.
We plan
Canadian
to do more
Prime Minister
to help support
Justin
Liberia
Trudeau
during
pledged
next year's
continued
elections
support to Liberia
through the United
during a
Nations
state
Development
visit where he met the
Program's
country's
Joint
president.
Trust
The
Fund.
comments come ahead of the West African nation's legislative and presidential elections in 2017. It's Trudeau's first visit to the continent since becoming PM last year. Drums and dancing to mourn the death of a Ghanaian queen. Traditional rulers gathered in Kumasi to pay tribute to the Queen of Ashanti, who died after a 39-year reign, aged 111. In accordance with Ashanti custom, drumming was banned in the kingdom until her burial. It has the trappings of democracy, but few of the functions. Somalia's elections have been underway since last month, but with just 14,000 of the country's 12 million citizens voting for MPs, the process certainly has its shortcomings.
The vote is part of Somalia's ongoing election, which began last month. Just 14,000 of the country's 12 million citizens are voting for 275 MPs, who will join appointed senators to select a new president. With winners often negotiated in advance, it falls far short of a democratic election. Yet, given a history of violence, civil war and deadly resource rivalry, in Somalia it is progress.
My voice mattered in this election, and I voted for the right candidate, and he won. So we're excited. We're going to be the change in the community.
This election is fair and well organised. We're happy because this is the first time we've seen people selecting their candidates.
Since 2000, a series of transitional governments were formed abroad, until in 2012 the current parliament was appointed in the capital Mogadishu. Now voting is taking place in regional towns, though observers say there are numerous problems.
Examples of intimidation, examples of candidates being prevented from, putting their names forward, or being prevented physically from going to locations. There's a lot of money changing hands.
In the southern port city of Kismayo, elders from the rare Hassan clan accuse local officials of rigging the vote, an allegation that is fiercely denied. When all MPs are selected, there will be a presidential vote. But with missed deadlines prolonging an already drawn-out process, it is unclear when.
This park is not your typical battleground, but these American servicemen have been drafted into the desperate fight against rhino poaching. They're teaching South African Rangers military techniques in what they see as a new war on terror.
The same behaviors that you see in poaching is the same things that you see in an insurgency. And so having extensive background and understanding in insurgency and counterinsurgency, all those applications directly apply.
Rhino horns can sell on the black market for up to $60,000 a kilo. With such high stakes, rhino poachers working for criminal gangs will go to violent lengths to get their prey. Christoph Vorster lost 4 rhinos in 1 week last October.
A normal poacher, you follow them, they run, they just run. They won't turn and shoot at you. So rhino poachers, that's where it comes in. They've got rifles. They will shoot at you if they feel their life is in danger. And these guys were in the military. They were in those situations. They were shot upon. So they know what to look for.
The veterans aim to teach the rangers how to disarm poachers, analyse footprints and communicate with helicopter pilots. It's only a 2-day course, and the military terminology can be confusing for the rangers. But for the ex-servicemen and women, this is a chance to make a positive difference.
I'm still kind of in the same line of work, I'm doing the same kind of thing, but I'm just changing who I'm impacting, you know, for a greater good.
While the so-called green militarisation of national parks and private reserves has been widespread, not everyone supports this approach. Some experts worry it could alienate communities, who blame the rangers for killing their loved ones. But with rhinos on the brink of extinction, these conservationists see no alternative for now than to fight fire with fire.
In this club in downtown Cairo, musicians Ahmed Saleh and Abdallah Minyawi play their electronic beats to a swaying crowd. The duo are part of a wave of new talent that has surged onto Egypt's underground music scene in recent years, sometimes infused with traditional Egyptian sounds.
There is movement in the music scene. There's a lot of collaborations, a lot of concerts, and a lot of possibilities for more exposure.
The movement began in the mid-2000s when musicians bypassed record labels to reach their listeners directly online. This also led to the birth of a new type of music called maharaganat. Emerging from working-class neighborhoods, it became Egypt's most listened-to genre. Using cheap or free software, these musicians mix traditional Egyptian music with electronic sounds, creating loud, eclectic beats.
These songs are now the most played at weddings. It's the only thing they play. At the beginning, people were against us. Then we imposed our style, and now everyone listens to Maharaganat, old and young alike.
Rami Abadir released his first official album with Canadian record label DMT Records in May, also using the internet to publish and promote his music.
Even if I can't get proper devices, I can download cheap software online and start making music. I can learn from the internet or by experimenting, or with the help of friends.
Egypt's 2011 uprising, which toppled longtime dictator Hosni Mubarak, boosted the movement, creating a security void which made it easier to open spaces and organize festivals. While many venues promoting new and experimental music have since closed, several still hold regular live sessions. And other artists in the region, including from Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan, have joined up with them to collaborate.
If you think cycling 100 kilometers is tough, try doing it while balancing a football on your head. One Nigerian footballer managed 103, dodging heavy traffic and enthusiastic fans in a bid to break a Guinness World Record. It could take up to 12 weeks for the Guinness World Record body to verify and confirm the result. B-boys and body jumping. Uganda's great class jam breakdancing competition drew over 200 dancers from across the continent, as well as thousands of dedicated fans. Next week, we take a trip to Guinea-Bissau. It may look like a tropical paradise, but snake bites are posing a problem to islanders who lack the anti-venom they need. That's all from us at Africa Weekly. Until next week.